Now for this example, I want to show you how to do a very simple parts list that might be composed of some different components and sub-assemblies. I've already created my exploded view, and now what I want to do is make a parts list that shows all of these parts that are ballooned out here, that are exploded here, but also I want to include this visor as a single line item representing the sub-assembly. The way the parts list works in Composer is the easiest way to think about it is what you select is what gets added to the parts list. And that's a little different from the way that you're probably accustomed to working in SolidWorks, where the parts list or the BOM always reflects whatever components are unsuppressed. In Composer, we're simply just going to select, and step by step we'll build up a composite parts list. First thing we'll do is in the assembly tree, the structure that I want is basically what you see in the assembly tree here. I've got some top-level components like the guard, the rests, the deflectors, and so on. But then I also have this shield subassembly that I want to be a separate line item. Let's do this in a couple of steps just to make it easy. I'll shift select all of the individual components that I want. Then from the BOM tab, I'll click on the BOM workshop icon. That'll bring up my BOM workshop over here on the right. Now there's a lot of customization you can do here in terms of the style that you want your BOM ID formats, of alpha, numeric, and so on, the profile or the template that you use for your BOM. That's all customizable, and I encourage you to explore that. But at a bare minimum, make sure that the Apply To drop-down list is set to Selection. That way, only the selected components will go into the parts list. With those selected components, say Generate BOM IDs, and we now have a list. If you hit Show Hide BOM Table, we now have a list of those selected components. That's looking good. But now, how do I go back and add that subassembly? Well, back in my assembly tree, I'll go to Assembly Select Mode, click on the Shield Assembly, and over in my BOM workshop, I just say Generate BOM IDs, and it now adds that to the selection. You see that the shield assembly now is just a single line item, and it takes on the next number. Another thing I get asked about a lot is how can I include non-graphical components in my Composer parts list? Things like glue and paint and things like that. Easy solution there is to right-click at the root node. We want to make sure that this comes in at the root node, just like our screwdrivers and chisel did. And I'll just choose Create Dummy Actor. And I'll give this a name, Glue. So that's now a top-level component, even though there's no geometry associated with it. To get that into the table, just make sure you're in Part Select mode, select that component, go to Generate BOM IDs, and now it shows up as line item number 8. Now finally, to get the balloons for all of these items, go to the BOM tab in the assembly tree here. You can see all the components that are included in our BOM. You'll just do a Shift Select to get them all selected, and then over on the BOM tab, you can auto balloon these if you just choose the Create Callouts command. Notice a couple of things. First of all, my style is set to where any assemblies are detailed out with a black balloon. That's a matter of preference, and you can certainly apply your own styles for that. The other thing I want you to notice is that the glue item is a number 8 balloon, but it's not attached to anything. You can move that balloon attachment point anywhere you want. Just make sure not to touch on a model edge or vertex. Otherwise, it will renumber that balloon to the selected component. So just make sure that it's ballooning to a spot out in space. I'll show you how we can further detail out that non-graphical item in the next demo segment. That's a great example of how you can selectively build up your parts lists by selecting parts, subassemblies, and non-graphical items and putting them all together in a parts list.